All right. So I believe your plotting is going good and strong. And by this time, you have been, in full-fledged kind of scenario because there are a lot of things that would be coming ahead. So we were discussing the missing value imputation in the last session that it's very important to check whether our data contains certain missing values. And if the missing values are there, then it's important that either you need to remove those missing values or you need to replace those missing values. All right. So let's go to the environment. And this is the file which we have already imported as per the last session. All right. The date column is there, the ICICI Bank column is there, and the HDFC Bank column is there. So let's first check for the missing values. So for missing values, the function that you can use is .isna. So .isna will tell you or will showcase you that which individual values have the missing values. So missing values, you simply have to sorry. Yeah, so simply this is print. Okay, so this is df.csna. Why I'm using df? Because I have when I read my file, so I read it as a df. You can place any name. I have used df. You can use whatever you like. Okay, but the file that I have imported and then then it was read was finally named as df. All right, so that's why I'm using df here. Df.isna function will help me know that whether missing values are there or not. So if you run it, so you cannot find any missing value. Everywhere it is showing false, 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 false. That means ideally there is no missing value. We can check further. We can check for every column as well. There might be a possibility that some value, or column might have that, but since this is showing false, this will also be the same case. So in the ICICI Bank column there is no missing value, in the date column there is no missing value, in the HDFC Bank column there is no missing value. So I have three columns, and in all the three columns there are no missing values. The data type is boolean. That's true false because it's shown here in the true and false only. So boolean means the representation would be in the form of true or false. So there's no point of plotting a bar for missing values because there are no missing values. So if suppose there would have been some missing values, then we would have dropped. We would have used dot drop na function. So with the help of drop na function, all the missing values would have been automatically been dropped. It's so easy. It's so straightforward. So that's how you do go for missing value imputation. And once the missing value imputation is done, then probably we can look for the date columns. So as I told you that it's important that you need to convert your date column into the date time format, because by default it take it as an object. So you need to first check. You can check whether whatever columns you have, what are the types of data for more clarity. And if you see that date time has not been taken in a date time format, then you need to convert it into date time. And then once the date column has been converted into the date time format, it's important to designate the date column as the index. It's very important because if the date column is not placed as an index, then time series plotting cannot be done. Okay, so let's use it in our interface. Let's first check the type of data we have. All right, so n equal to 5 means it will print me the top 5 rows only. Okay, so that's why I'm using n equal to 5, because top 5 rows are more than enough to understand the head and the type of the data. So now see, now it's very important. Now here the HDFC Bank is an object, doesn't matter. ICICI is a float, doesn't matter. Now what is important is the date here. Now date column has been taken as an object, and this is something which is very important for us to understand in time series plotting. in time series plotting, the date has to be taken as into a date time format. Otherwise, time series plotting will not work. So now since this is an object, now it's time to convert the date into the date time format. All right. So the function that we will use is the pd dot to underscore date time. So df is my data frame which I have created above, and I want to access the date column only because I want to change date column into a date time format. Equal to pd, that means the pandas, to underscore date frame. This is the function that you have to use for converting to date time, and df date, because I want to convert this column only, not any other column, other two columns. So we run it, and now if you use the same and check the data type, you will see that the date has now been changed to a date time format. Here it was an object. So this is the very, very important part when you are moving ahead with the time series plotting. Then once you convert it, you have to designate as a index as well. It's very important. Index, I have told you, it starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want to begin from the end, then it starts from -1. So let's take it as index. Let's set the date column as the index. So the function is df is my data frame. So df dot set underscore index. So I want to uh, set date column as an index. So I will use name date column only. Rest of the two columns have no relation to it, the HDFC Bank and the ICICI Bank column. In place equal to true. The reason for uh, placing this argument is, if you will use in place equal to true, then new series is not created. Within the existing series only all the changes are done. All right. So I don't need to create a new series. Whatever series I am going with, in that series only the changes would be done and I can move ahead, or you can move ahead. All right. So that's the reason why in place equal to true is used. Okay. So set underscore index function is used. I'm again repeating why I'm using df, because above I have my file was named as df only. Df is equal to pd dot read underscore cv my file. Okay. So if you use some other name here, so accordingly everything will change. Try to understand, right? It's very important here. And if you want to make some plotting, well, definitely you can move ahead if you wish to move. So let us first set the index. Okay. So index setting is done. And now if you want to plot, so let's have the plot. And now you will find something very interesting. Yeah. Now if you look at carefully, you don't need to do anything actually. When you're plotting the graph, the plotting function has automatically taken the dates on the x-axis from 18. You see the ticks have automatically been done. Like for example, January 18, then April 18, then July 18, and so on. You don't need to tell, right? You don't need to expressly tell the how to take it. So Python is good enough. The package that you're using is good enough to do all this thing itself. Otherwise, if everything has to be done manually, then there is no point of using software. And it will draw for ICICI Bank only, because it can plot only one series at a time. If you want to plot the HDFC Bank series as well, then that's a different method we'll be discussing later on, if to plot two time series on the same area. But by default, it will take only one time series. Okay, that is what we need to understand. So this is how it is done. So there are different styles that you can add to your you can add to your plots. Like 538 is the most common style which we are using, and there are different styles that are available. So if you want to see what all styles are available for your plotting, so you can use this function plt.style.available, and this is the list you can see. Like Seaborn is a very, very popular style that is being used in plotting. We'll be discussing Seaborn in detail in the intermediate section later on. And so these all styles can be used. So it's your choice how you want to go for, right? So for example, I want to change my style to 538. Okay. So yeah, this is how it is. I think you can see the difference between both the plotting. There are grids, a little dark background, then broader ranges, You want to change your style, you can change your style. For example, I want to use let's say C1 pastel, for example. Okay, so instead of 538, let me use C1 pastel, and let's see how it changes. Yeah, see. So this is how, you can change the style of your graph. You can beautify them. You can showcase them. It's all your creativity. How, let's say I want to use BMH. Okay, so let's move ahead, and let's uh, let's take BMH here. Okay, let's play. Let's have some fun. So BMH. So yeah. Okay, most of the changes you will find in the way these line graph plotting has been done. So it's your choice how you want to do. There are a lot of styles available, so whatever style you feel is good according to your data, you can definitely move ahead with it. Okay, so that's enough for this session, and keep plotting.